Often we associate the 10th composition with something very difficult and exclusive, something reserved only for few people. This is because we don't think that composing can be considered a normal activity like writing texts or drawing and painting. The main purpose of a method that uses the composition as an educational tool to analyze and acquire some musical and instrumental concepts is primarily not to provide knowledge, but rather to develop critical, analytical and explorative senses in the child. Through some experiments and some analytical and practical activities, the child acquires the necessary tools that will make him ever more conscious and autonomous. The validity of the compositional process in elementary music education is very important, not only for its outcome in itself, but for the use of logic and analysis that the process constantly requires in every phase of its realization. The composition then becomes a moment of exploration, creation and learning in the elementary music education. In the musical context, namely, it's possible to compose music using formal notation, which involves the use of symbols codified by the musical tradition, but also an informal code, which implies the use of symbols, letters, graphics, words, drawings, or any other element which can be codified by the composer in reference to a specific musical or sound event. The drawing represents the main creative form that manifests itself during early childhood. During the period of growth, graphic production undergoes numerous changes that occur through various stages, and drawing plays a fundamental role in children's mental development. In the same way, be able to imagine a sound in the mind, creating a visual and acoustic image, represent an important aspect in musical learning. As a composer and as an educator, I have had already different opportunities to work together with children, and with each project I see how important it is for the children to get to know and mix different musical languages. Whether the children have music experience or not does not matter in this case. I like to create projects with different targets, with children, teenagers, adults, using normal instruments, using common objects, composing or improvising music, accompanying a melody, imitating a sound, transform into a music, a picture, a symbol, a color. In this project, I worked with children from 4 to 5 and from 6 to 7 years old. Our topic was the sounds of the forest and the sounds of the cities. Our goal was to reproduce the sounds of these two environments using almost common objects. We also tried to mix these sounds, creating a sort of musical story, and to write this story using informal notation. Pila and Poldo is a project about the story of a small ball, Pila, and a big balloon, Poldo. I wrote this story specific for this project, and we realized in almost 5 days a musical representation of this story. We had the protagonists, Pila and Poldo, represented by percussion instruments, and the background of the story composed and played on the guitar. In this project, I mixed the instrumental composition for teenagers with the improvisation for children. They worked together, creating a unitary music piece. For the topic musical painting, we used a drawing of Kandinsky, Red Square, and we tried to analyze the colors and the symbols of this picture and to understand the sense of this image. We were not focusing our attention on the title of this picture, we worked only on the colors, on the lines, and on the visual meaning of this image. And we started our composition with instrumental improvisation. The group consisted of about 12 girls from 14 to 16 years old with a little bit of instrumental experience. In this project, I worked in a small group of children from 5 to 7 years old with any musical knowledge or violin experience. The aim of the project was to present them the violin and to enable them to play the instrument in few weeks. The goal was to let the children free improvising and playing on the violin using specific sounds or rhythms and to try to fix these sounds on the paper using informal notation. I used a similar idea for a project with teenagers. They improvised and composed with the violin a sort of collective composition using some special techniques like tremolo, harmonics and much more. The goal was to help them improving their technical skills in a group, helping each other, composing small exercises to be combined in a unique composition. They also used informal notation to fix the compositions on the paper. I realized this project with one of my violin pupils at the age of 8 and with almost 2 years violin experience. In this project, my pupil had to learn the fluency and the looseness of the right and the left hand. We made a sort of interactive lesson practicing the technique of tremolo for the right hand and technique of glissando for the left hand. Both are techniques that require wrist and arm looseness. In that case, the techniques were the main elements and the composition was the exercise, so that she could compose herself for practicing purpose and also using other sounds, rhythms or techniques. If we want to use the composition in our methodic, we have to learn how we can mix it in our daily teaching praxis. I tried to show it during the workshops for the Day of Modern Music at the GEM Music Lab Private University in Vienna. In this project, we see students for pedagogy and music teachers experimenting improvisation. They are using instruments and also common objects like bottles, glasses or pots. They composed a musical fragment about the theme Sunset.